maybe with dance more than most anything else. They have a very hard time getting it out of their system.
Yeah, the physical act of dancing is something that nothing else can replace. I miss the physicality of it to a certain degree. I miss the wonderful exertion of it, which means that after a good, wonderful, strong performance, you feel so light and so transparent, and you feel you have no ego left almost. You feel you're all completely sublimated and distillated and transparent. So that's a lovely thing. And I miss the orchestra. The privilege of going on a stage and having an orchestra play for you, I miss that.
You're one of the few people that's of the last of the generation that had an opportunity to work directly and study with Balanchine. I want to know how he gave you a better musical sensibility when he was teaching you the pieces.
You mean...
Did he play the music for you so you'd listen to it? Did he count it for you?
No, he was speaking as a dancer.
As a dancer. Mm-hmm.
No, it was simply the kind of emphasis and the kind of energy and with which he would, when he was gesturing, he did everything very graphically with movement and gesture. He never explained anything. He never explained anything. He would just say, do it this way, and you know, the music goes ba-ba-da-bom, you know, and he would gesture along with that.
And in movements, Stravinsky was very impressed with what Balanchine did, wasn't he?
Yes, did you hear that? Yes, I was just going to tell
Stravinsky told me so.
No, tell the story.
Yes, he said, well, no, because, I mean, it's a very dry little piece, as you know, and nobody dreams of playing it in the concert hall now. You never hear it. But Stravinsky was breathing over my shoulder at the last rehearsal practice, which I found terrifying, I must say. But then, evidently, I remember him saying at the end, oh, George has illuminated the music.
The big lifts are not that difficult because you take preparation, you know, and it goes hop up. But semi-lifts, when they just
off the floor.
Off the floor, you have to very difficult.
They're awful.
They're more difficult, so then you're saying that the lifts which are just coming off the floor, a very small
like
amount.
When they slide, you know, it's very pretty. She slide on arabesque, but for the partner...
It's awfully hard because you've got... the weight is all here, instead of it being up over you. It's right on... and
that's why so many boys now have, you know, back injury or this tiredness. Because the lifts are so, especially now everybody went berserk with one lift after the other,
yes.
The art of dancing disappearing in adagio.
I was wondering, what did you men think of modern dance at the time? Did you know that it was going on?
I always hated all those dirty feet.
What? Did you really? You're pulling my foot. Did you go to their concerts?
I did. I used to go to see Martha Graham a lot. I used to go and stand quite a bit at other people's concerts. Ruth St. Denis I used to go to see a lot. And
I used to find it difficult to understand that vocabulary. Being steeped in the study of ballet, I mean, it was complete antithesis, just totally different. I used to wonder why they had to assume what I considered such sort of awkward and ugly positions.
If you're a high school junior or senior and you want to learn to drive a motorcycle the right way, write Exploring, Box 2021, New Brunswick, New Jersey.
We did workshops and performed in Soweto, at Cape Town, at the Market Theatre, and Durban. About 3 months later, I was asked to come back.
And what did you think of the people and the situation?
I went back my second trip. I worked with a group in Soweto, although they were stationed in Johannesburg. And I must tell you that I didn't know I had the power or anger enough in me. I'd never realized I could, if I lived in a place such as South Africa, it is possible to hate an entire race based on color.
The well-known playwright from South Africa, Eto'o Fugard, said, "Silence is a sort of treason in my country." Is politics reflected in the theater, in the arts?
Yes, definitely.
Why?
Because, you know, it's something that you grew up with. It is part of you. You cannot escape it. And so that when You portray life. You portray life that you have experienced. You portray life that you have observed, so that it has to show in your music. It has to show in your dance, because it is part of you.
Do the audiences expect it?
Oh yes, certainly they do.
How do they let you know?
I don't think they actually let you know, but actually the audience just demands some honesty from you as an artist.
Is it possible to do art for art's sake at this time in South Africa?
I think that's silly. I really don't see any artists, especially black artists, indulging in art for art's sake. There's just no time for that.
Well, as opposed to grabbing like this, or taking, you know, or like Merrill was saying, very insecure partners or very unexperienced partners take a risk like that, you know, and just make a stop. But he wants us to take the wrist this way, or like this, but he doesn't want to ever see this grabbing point. And she can, the woman can resist too if she needs. And you can still partner, you're strong. But she can really push down and you can still secure her, but without making it look like you're holding her on or fighting.
What's the difference between the Lindy and the jitterbug?
Well, Sugar doesn't agree with me. I say that the difference is that people did Lindy hop, knew what they were doing, and jitterbugs were just out there, jumped up and down like they didn't have any sense.
This is known as the Lindy, the boy twist.
But as the paper said, shouts of bravo, that the rafters shook. It was really overwhelming. It was a tremendous thing, and it was very gratifying in a way.
What kind of a reaction did you get from the critics of that time, the dance critics?
I have a lot of the write-ups.
Yes.
And they were wondering how blacks could do ballet, how he got us to do ballet, and how we could move that way that they're more used to seeing black people doing jazz, and you know, whatever that was, that jitterbug. But it was unusual to see a black company that was so well put together like this, and the costumes were beautiful, the music was good. I have some of the write-ups that I still have.
And some of the things that I've read and doing a little research, I noticed that the critics were rather stunned that the company was going to attempt to do Firebird.
That's what I mean.
One article even remarked that this is the first attempt to develop the natural talents of the Negro through the refining technique of ballet.
And it's like you love your own children because you give birth to them and you have the joy of making them and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's the way I am about these numbers. Every single little speck of this show is my life, you know. It's all, for years and years and years, that's all I did. Till I stopped and then did some writing. But every single thing of this show, everything you do, you are an extension of me.
What was the most difficult thing for you to get the dancers to realize about your particular movement quality or style?
To be clear, to be concise, to do one thing at a time and do it on the musical phrase. That is the essence of my pantomime. It is stylized as the no. One thing.
I say take 5 counts now of something that can be turned into a, say choreography can be turned into a straight line, and do it along a straight line like that, and alternate that with another part of something else, and I don't care where you come in, just keep it consistent count-wise.
There were many ballrooms that you know, cater to youngsters even. You could go to a dance like on Sunday afternoons from 3 to 5. The youngsters could go there.
Oh, I see. Not just the evening
Not
stuff.
just the evening. You could go there from 3 to 5, and you would be able to dance with bands like maybe Jimmy Lunceford, Duke Ellington,
My goodness.
Lucky Melody, you know, all those swing bands. And this inspired kids to, you know, to want to dance.
I have material for something for every measure of the score. Something has survived that I've been able to put together in my notebooks and then to put on to the dancers in rehearsal. But because Nijinsky used so many people at one time in different groups doing different kinds of choreography, it's very layered movement. Maybe I have 3 or 4 pieces of documentation for one measure, but there might be a 5th or a 6th.
Okay, almost. You're right. I know. The point is to get to here and get to here.
And why did you decide not to have a company?
I decided not to because in the beginning I felt like I really needed to explore, first of all, whether I had the versatility to make a repertoire that would sustain a company. And I decided also that I wanted, rather than a company, than for me to want a company, I wanted the company to want me. I wanted the work to evolve to a point where a company was really the next thing to do. A company was what had to happen.